Florida won the toss and deferred. Trent Schneider, who has a 17% touchback rate, to the 10, and Bryson Smith uses the fair catch, and with the new rule it will come out to the 25, and then brings out the offense for the Cougars and one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the nation in D'Eriq King.
D'Eriq applies stress to every level of the defense. He throws it a little bit better than you would think when you watch him on film, but he plays with great confidence and he can run the football effectively. That's what he's known for. So the pressure on the front line to be able to stay in your lanes, that linebacker to stay in coverage, and defensively in the secondary, you better have good eye discipline against King, because he will tuck it and run, and he'll be accurate off of those RPOs, those run-pass options.
The high-scoring Houston offense averaging about 49 points per game, second in the nation only to Alabama. And keeping it on the first play of the game is King. Not much there. Gets back to about the line of scrimmage.
This is what we'll see. Tempo. They will go fast on offense for Houston. They'll run a play within 10, 12, 15 seconds of the prior play.
King looking to throw, plenty of time. Now rolling out, running out of time, and just going to throw it away. Gets it past the line of scrimmage. And it's going to be a 3rd and 10. Kirk Livingstone, defensive end, was pressuring King there. And see this offense, they can score some points.
And quickly. And it's first down and second down. If you have negative plays, it doesn't deter them too much, because they're going to keep their foot on the pedal and try to beat you down the field.
They've converted 46% of their third downs on the season. And a 3rd and 10 right out of the chute for the Cougars. Again, time for King, but giving it a look. Where's he going to go? Now being pursued, gets a block, and then throws it to the sideline and tiptoeing. They say that is a catch for Jeremy Singleton, and a first down, a gain of 12.
That's why you have to stay in coverage if you're the Bulls defensively. D'Eriq King will keep plays alive behind the line of scrimmage.
Got a quick look. It's now King running. Only gets about a yard. Livingstone with the tackle, and we got a quick peek. It did look like Singleton had a foot in and completed the catch.
Good concentration on the sidelines, and a terrific job by D'Eriq King of keeping that play alive.
Showing some pressure here.
This is where the Bulls defensively like to pressure. They looked like they were going to fake a little zero coverage, man coverage pressure.
King taking a shot, looking for Stevenson, who makes an adjustment at the 20. No flag, incomplete. Ronnie Hoggins, nickelback on the coverage. And we asked Charlie Strong last night when we talked with him, who's going to be on Stevenson. He said Hoggins is going to have the primary spot.
All day long. That's the leader of the defense, and that's the matchup. If you're tuning in to watch explosive plays, 5 against 19, Stevenson against Hoggins, they're going to go at it all afternoon, especially the way South Florida likes to pressure the line of scrimmage and play man coverage.
Houston converted a 3rd and 10 earlier on the drive, now a 3rd and 8. They motion Jeremy Singleton. King dumps it off. This is the tight end Brooker, and he battles his way for a first down across midfield, dragging the tackler LaPointe. It'll be a first down at the 48 of USF.
Nice, easy throw off of play action. Good accuracy by King, and watch the strength of Brooker on the edge. Just a terrific job securing the football, protecting it away from defenders.
14-yard gain, and for the second time on the drive, the Cougars convert on 3rd and long. They fake the jet sweep, and there goes King. A 47-yard touchdown run for D'Eriq King, and they faked that jet sweep, and all of a sudden the seas parted.
Motion, formation, and variation of hiding the football for D'Eriq King on the zone reads and those RPO run and pass options gets Houston on the board first.
Dalton Witherspoon stays perfect for the point after, and it's 7-0.
This is the way you do it early in a game at home. When you want to make a statement, you go to your best player on offense. That's D'Eriq King, his 10th rushing touchdown of the season, and he gets Houston started fast.
D'Eriq King's 47-yard touchdown run has made it 7-0. At 47-yard run, the longest of his career. He had a 46-yard run against Tulane last year that didn't go for a touchdown but had been his career-long rush.
This is what King does to an opposing defense. He kept plays alive in that opening drive, behind the line of scrimmage, threw the football very accurately, but if you give him a crease, he's going to take it the distance, and he's so quick and elusive in that first 10 yards, you're not going to catch him.
Taken at the 2. Jadard Phillips slides down short of the 20. Going to bring out the transfer quarterback, Blake Barnett, who was one of the top high school quarterbacks coming out of high school in California. Went to Alabama for a while, went to Arizona State, now with South Florida.
And you would think with all the travels and perseverance that you have to have if you're Blake Barnett, you would have a lot of experience. Well, that's not the case. Only 7 weeks of experience in this offense, but he does have that flatline demeanor to keep everybody calm.
Hand off. Jordan. Cronkright with the carry. He'll pick up about 4. This is a pretty darn good offense for USF as well.
Well, you notice on the first play of the game, you're going to run north and south without Ed Oliver on the field. You think you can own that line of scrimmage.
Tempo for them. Cronkright once again straight ahead. He'll fall forward to the 25. Cronkright comes in with 5 consecutive 100-plus yard rushing games, which has tied a school record that he currently shares with Marlon Mack and Quentin Flowers. He comes out on 3rd and 3.
This is where you have to stay on the field offensively.
Barnett throws across the middle. It's off the hands of the tight end, Mitchell Wilcox. Incomplete, and a quick 3 and out for the South Florida offense on their first possession.
This is not the script that head coach Charlie Strong wanted for his Bulls defensively or offensively. You give up a touchdown, a quick touchdown in that opening drive, and then you go 3 and out offensively, and you're going to give it right back to a team that scores at will, close to 50 points a game. That's not what Charlie wanted to open up this game.
Bryson Smith back to receive the punt. Velocity Trent Schneider. Wobbly punt is going to land at the 34, and Smith immediately tackled at the 24. Well, they've converted a 3rd and 8, a 3rd and 9, and a 3rd and 10 so far, but right there, Jawan Brown completely blows that up in a tackle for a 3-yard loss.
Wow, talk about getting penetration. That's how you shut down the run-pass option in the backfield with that zone read. Terrific job of getting to the exchange point and bringing down King.
Brown out of Tampa now has 5.5 tackles for loss this season. Movement by Josh Black on that right side. A free play for King, so he's going to take a deep shot for Stevenson, and incomplete. And King may have taken a shot from Tyrone Barber as well.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the defense. Offside. For 55, that penalty is declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer. The penalty is accepted. 15 yards automatic, first down.
It looked like Barber, didn't it, at the end of that play, coming in and getting the big hit. Well, I don't know. That was a pretty timely pressure on the quarterback. It looked like King just let the football go. I don't know about that one. That looked like a clean defensive hit to me.
Yeah, I agree. The true freshman Barber out of Venice, Florida. I don't think he had time to pull back on that at all, as King had just released that one, but they'll take the personal foul penalty and have a first down at their own 49. King hands off and a rush. Terrence Williams, the Baylor grad transfer. It's a pickup of about 7 on first down to the 44 of the Bulls.
And it's good to get him back in this offense. Injured most of the season, now 100%.
King, pump fakes, throws, found the open lane, and that's Courtney Lark. First down inside the 25.
The run pass zone read fake in the backfield allows a lot of space and easy windows to throw the football for King.
20-yard gain, first down inside the 25. King fires again, and that's caught at the 15 by Lark. Mazzy Wilkins bringing him down. And right now the tempo offense rolling pretty well here for Houston.
Very accurate with the football in the passing game, and this is where you have to watch out for King and his athletic ability running the football.
South Florida trying to get lined up. Here's a little Jet sweep, Stevenson, and he's going to make it into the end zone. Touchdown. That'll go as a forward pass as he flipped it in the air. King did forward, and Stevenson takes it out of the air and takes it to the house. A 15-yard touchdown. And the early statement, John Kinjimi, has been made by the home team.
Absolutely. De'Aaron King is getting everything he wants in the pass offense, and I think the offensive coordinator and Kendall Briles using that tempo to his advantage against this Bulls defense.
And the Witherspoon point after, and just over 5 minutes into the game, it's 14-0.
And there's no stopping Houston right now offensively. They're throwing it really well. They're running it well. This time, it's Stevenson using his speed on the perimeter for 14.
The sun is shining bright in Houston on this Saturday, and the Houston Cougars offense is rolling. Their defense does not have Ed Oliver. But then again, the Houston defense has only had to play 3 plays so far.
That's right, partner. They've done a great job of getting off the field. And how about this offense and their tempo? 4 of 8 plays, they're snapping before there's even 25 seconds left on the clock and the play clock. And those plays have accounted for 40 yards. So this is a team that does it with quickness, with formation, with motion, and it's more about tempo and execution.
This is Johnny Ford to the 30, and a nice return here for the Bulls. Still on his feet across the 40 to about the 43. The first 5 minutes have been hectic for Charlie Strong's Bulls, and I'll tell you what, Alex, he warned us about it last night, and it's come true.
Yeah, he did. Charlie Strong said he prepared his team for this kind of early game emotions, energy. He expected the crowd to get rowdy, but he said you can't get caught up in the first 5 minutes because you can't win a game in the first 5 minutes. He said we have to find a way to settle down and not get caught up in the exterior factors.
Until this year for Barnett.
And good on Barnett. I can't even comprehend me being mature enough to go back to my college days, playing major college football and being married and having a kid. But he seems to do it all in stride. He's 6 of 9 for 35 yards today and hoping to build on that.
Barnett pass a little wide. It took D'Angelo Antoine to stretch for that, and he's brought out of bounds at the 28. And South Florida, I don't think is going to snap it before the quarter comes to an end, and it will come to an end. Houston scored touchdowns on their first 2 possessions to set the tone in this game. With the Cougars playing without Ed Oliver. Stay tuned for more from Houston after this message and a word from our ABC stations. We get ready to start the second quarter in Houston. Home team Cougars have the 14-0 lead over unbeaten South Florida. First play of this drive for South Florida. Out of the change a quarter on 3rd and 2. And they do convert. They only had 3 first downs, John, in the first quarter, South Florida.
Well, that's right, and they need to win more battles at the line of scrimmage. I know offensive coordinator Sterling Gilbert said that's the biggest key. As they go, we're going to go as an offense. So you have to win up front in run blocking and pass blocking.
Straight ahead, Cronkright. Then he is stood up by the cornerback Isaiah Johnson and stapled into the turf, but not before he runs for 11 yards.
Nice job up front. We were just trying to focus on the offensive line. They get a crease, and Cronkright does a really good job of running, but low man wins at the end, and Isaiah Johnson get those pads underneath the transfer running back.
Johnson has missed some time with a back injury, but back today. This time Emil Fleming, the tackle on Cronkright. 3-yard gain on first down, which is right about what they're gaining on first down so far today. About 3.5 yards on average for first down play. And that's just not going to get it done. Is it?
Not going to get it done, but they wanted to stay away from those negative plays early in this game, and they have.
Barnett steps up, throws, and threads the needle to Tyree McCants. A first down inside the 40 of Houston. 14-yard gain.
Good pass protection, and that one Blake stepped into. And you hope that Tyree McCants is okay coming off holding that right side a little bit. He's your go-to guy on offense.
He heads to the bench with one of the athletic trainers right behind him. It's a pass near side, a little underthrown and through the hands of Darnell Solomon.
He may have just taken a shot to the right side, holding that rib area right by his right hip. This is a tough football player, a competitor. He's that team leader, and anytime you need a catch, a big play to happen, you're always looking to number 8.
One of the great receivers in South Florida history. McCants third in career yards and touchdowns in South Florida. Slung out. Antoine. Well, that's blown up. Isaiah Johnson once again. Loss of 2.
What's gotten into Isaiah Johnson? It's a good thing if you're defensive coordinator Mark D'Onofrio. That's just fighting through a block and knowing you're going to get that quick screen, that now pass to the wide side of the field. Great awareness by Isaiah Johnson.
A 3rd and 11. South Florida's done a little better on 3rd down, but this one, a 3rd and long. This is their longest 3rd down attempt of the game. And Barnett's going to take off and is going to have the first down, it appears, as he steps out at the 25. Nice run there by Blake Barnett of about 15 yards.
That's what you worry if you go man coverage against Barnett, because he will tuck the football down, and he's athletic enough to move the chains. He's the 3rd leading rusher on this team, over 200 yards this season. Just good awareness and timing to know when to tuck that football and get it with your legs.
So South Florida converts on the 3rd and 11. What has been their best offensive drive so far today. Ford inside the 15. Johnny Ford is 5'5", 168 pounds.
Hard to find, isn't he?
A 9-yard gain.
Behind that big offensive line, 5'5" goes pretty well when you can run 4.4.
Right back to him. I thought he was going to get tackled by 31 Derek Parrish, but he slipped by Parrish into the arms of Zach Vaughn, the D lineman, for the tackle.
Really important for South Florida not to settle for a field goal here. You want to be able to get 7 points, and that's the goal. On the flip side, if you're Houston, make South Florida kick field goals, because they're not averaging as many points offensively. So Charlie Strong wants to get this football in the end zone.
12th play of the drive. Barnett hands. Ford finds a little crease. And right now they're using the kind of that scat back Ford basically straight ahead, a 7-yard pickup.
Get a crease, go north and south, and run with authority. That's the plan right now for the Bulls.
It is a 2nd and 3, so they can get a first down without scoring. The pass goes out to Bronson, trying to find his way into the end zone, but gets pulled back with the forward progress. It's going to be inside the 2. Deontay Anderson and Gleason Sprewell were the one that stood him up.
He may have done just what you explained. He had enough for the first down, and now if you're the Bulls, you're knocking on the door at the 2-yard line.
Yet Ed Oliver not able to play with that right knee injury, which occurred in the game last week against Navy.
Cronkite back in the game, replacing Johnny Ford, so you get a bigger back in the backfield beside Blake Barnett.
1st and goal from the 2 for the Bulls. Ford, or that's Cronkite, I should say, spinning, and he gets near the goal line but doesn't get in. Very close.
Good individual effort, not getting tackled for a loss with the spin move, and he tries to reach and break the plane. Ooh. I'm not sure. It looked like he broke the plane there.
Yeah, a moot point as he walks into the end zone. Touchdown, South Florida. Cronkite with his 7th rushing touchdown, and what South Florida badly needed, not only scoring, but giving that defense of theirs a break.
Statement drive by the Bulls on offense. 15 plays, 79 yards. You take some time off the clock, over 5 minutes. Blake Barnett had some nice, crisp passing to get the Bulls in position, and then the run up the middle, where they really did a good job running in between the tackles, going north and south on that drive.
Yeah, Cronkite punched it in, but Johnny Ford really helped set up that touchdown with his running earlier on the possession. Point after for the sophomore out of Gainesville, Florida, Colby Weiss. (14-7). Well, the Bulls know what it's like to play from behind, but they get a big score right there.
Well, they get it cranked up here in the 2nd quarter. I think you have to give credit to Blake Barnett, that offensive line, and some north-south running to get the Bulls back in the game, only trailing by 7 now on the road.
Rice and Smith back to receive this line drive, and he takes the fair catch inside the 5. That'll take it out to the 25. I like the fact more teams are taking advantage of that. And how about these fans getting painted up pregame? It's a beautiful day. It's in the low 80s.
Why not? You're right. Beautiful day in Houston. Cougs have a big game at home trying to get this crowd into it. And right now that offense is going to take the field only up by 7 points. They started fast, and it seems like the Bulls defensively have had an answer for quarterback D'Eriq King on the last couple of drives. Had some penetration up front, doing a better job covering these explosive wideouts.
D'Eriq King's had a little time on the sideline. He comes out, and that ball's picked. Mekhi LaPointe. I was just saying, he hadn't been out there in a little while, and his first pass turns into a pick. 4th time he's been picked this year.
It's the first time today that D'Eriq King forced the football after that RPO fake. He holds on to this and kind of double pumps, and it looked like Mekhi LaPointe was reading the quarterback the entire way. Does he come up with this ball? Looks, boy, that's close. That's really close. He made a great break on the football from that safety position.
Not going to take a look at it. So we move on at that point. And there he goes, Ford. Makes a cut to the end zone, and just like that, we're an extra point away from a tie game. 32-yard touchdown run for Johnny Ford. What just happened here?
I'll tell you what happened. Momentum has changed. You get a big defensive play and an interception, and then north-south running. You made the point during the break. We were talking about the way the Bulls run the football. It's not around the end. It's not east-west. It is downhill, and you win the battle at the line of scrimmage. Most times you're going to have success.
Ford last week against UConn had 3 touchdowns and 164 yards rushing. So that rushing touchdown, his 6th of the year, and wow. All of a sudden, we're tied in Houston.
Just a great job, and it's all set up by the defense. You get a great explosive play by Mekhi LaPointe. He's playing safety, center field. He comes up with a field position turnover, and then it turns around Johnny Ford. Explosion. We're all tied up in Houston.
Great food here in Houston on a great Saturday afternoon. Well, the interception for Mekhi LaPointe. And the touchdown run right after that from Ford, and it's a tie game. So LaPointe got credit for the pick, but we looked at that a couple of times, and it certainly looked like the ball hit the ground.
Let's just say that the Bulls are fortunate right now that the game is tied at 14, but they took advantage of the interception. First play, get in the end zone, and now the emotion and the momentum has definitely changed.
A short kick taken by Bryson Smith. And right now, South Florida, they got the momentum. They tackle him inside the 15. Well, now let's see how D'Eriq King and the Houston offense react. Again, this is one of the top scoring offenses in the nation, averaging 49 points a game. 2nd in the nation only to Alabama. Looking for somewhere to go. Olbakar swarmed under to the. Wow. Cassidy, thank you very much. We got a good football Saturday going. Here's a handoff and a pretty good head of steam and a run from Olbakar, but Greg Reeves gets in his way for a 3-yard gain.
Well, Mark, you mentioned how cold the Houston offense has been. The first 2 drives, 149 yards and 2 touchdowns. Since that point, in the last 4 drives, only 22 yards, 2 punts, and 1 interception.
Here's King. He finds his tight end, Romello Brooker, down the sideline for a first down to the 36. 18-yard gain. You mentioned the first 2 drives, both resulting in touchdowns, then punt, pick.
Nice conversion on 3rd down, coming back from that forced pass that turned into an interception and really turned into points for South Florida.
King. Clark. First down at the 38 of South Florida, and now the Cougars offense on the march after a 26-yard pickup.
When you've got a guy that's 6'2", 200 pounds, put some air under the football, let him go get it. That's exactly what D'Eriq King did on that play.
King wanting to go to the air again and taking a deep shot to the end zone. He's got his man, and the adjustment made. Touchdown, Marquez Stevenson with another big play for the sophomore from Shreveport.
This is just pure speed on the outside. Good setup. He gives him the post wiggle, and then he goes outside. That's that inside seam route that offensive coordinator Kendall Briles really loved to call at Baylor. And now it comes to Houston. And just a great wiggle to set up the safety, and then he goes right by him on the seam. That inside seam takeoff for 6 points.
I mentioned Stevenson second in the nation with 5 plays of 50-plus yards. That didn't go for 50. It does go for 38 yards.
Well, a big play coming back for the Cougars on offense. When you have explosive players on the offensive side, those good things happen, and they usually end up in the end zone.
38-yard touchdown. Marquez Stevenson has given Houston the lead back at 21-14. Bernard Phillips is going to bring it out from a couple of yards deep. And he's swarmed under at about the 17. Alex with more on Ed Oliver.
Even though Ed Oliver is out of this game, it doesn't mean that he's not contributing. Like you all have been pointing out, he's been jumping up and down on the sideline. And as one of the key leaders on this team, he's been energizing his teammates, coaching up some of the younger players, and has been very vocal getting the Cougars fired up.
Guy was the conference defensive player of the year last year. And there's a run. Cronkright. Ed Oliver won the Outland Trophy. That's for the best interior lineman, and that's for offense or defense. He's the first underclassman to ever win that award.
It looked like Ed Oliver was going to tackle Cronkright on the sidelines. He's ready to get in there.
Quick pass. Clairvaux. That's a first down across the 35-yard line. A tackle by cornerback Nick Watkins. Well, without Randall St. Felix, who did not make the trip due to injury, Stanley Clairvaux, one of the receivers to pick up some of the slack. Just his 7th catch of the year.
Nice job.
This is Cronkright using a block there from Bronson, but then forward progress stopped at the 38 by Alexander Myers and his teammates for a 3-yard gain.
That's where they want the running to go. They want it to go sideline to sideline for Houston. Once the Bulls start running north and south, that's their bread and butter. That's where they're most effective, is going right at this Houston defense.
I haven't seen Tyree McCants, who left kind of holding his right side on the last drive for South Florida. Long pass across the field, and once again Clairvaux with his 2nd catch of the drive. And that's going to be a first down.
Hey, you want to see Tyree McCants get back into this football game. He's holding that right side, as you mentioned. It might be a hip, it might be ribs, but he's one of those guys, the go-to guy for this offense, and somebody else or multiple people are going to have to pick up the slack.
Johnny Ford now in as the back. Here comes some pressure off the edge. The pass goes to the far side. A dangerous pass. Boy, Nick Watkins, the cornerback, I thought was measuring that up, but it's caught by Rowland for just his first catch of this game, 2nd of his career.
That's a long way to go for a minimal gain on first down. I mean, that was better than it had been on first down, but that's a dangerous throw to the wide side of the field.
Going to come to the near side. 3rd catch for Clairvaux on this possession. He stopped at the 30, but a first down, and South Florida moves the chains again.
Boy, it really seems like when Houston regains that momentum, the Bulls offense, they have an answer. They're coming back and stringing positive plays back to back to back, and Sterling Gilbert, their offensive coordinator, must feel good about the way his quarterback is playing.
Handoff running straight ahead for Ford. Sterling Gilbert now in his 2nd season with Charlie Strong here at South Florida. Remember, he spent 1 year at Tulsa, then went to Texas for 1 year with Charlie Strong. So now this is the first time he's had back-to-back years at the same school for a while.
And he's coming back home to his home state, has family and friends here, and Charlie Strong. You know, that's the one thing. There's continuity on this staff. First time since 2011 that USF has returned all their primary coaches, including their coordinators. And I think that helps on both sides of the football.
On 2nd and 6, Ford. For me, this guy's been the story of the game for South Florida. He's a stud. He is.
At 5'5", and you can't see him. He's hard to bring down. He's a great complement to the running game from Cronkite.
Came in averaging almost 9.5 yards per carry this season. Barnett stayed on his feet, makes a nice move, and then takes a hit, but he's going to have a first down.
Wow. There's the athleticism of Blake Barnett. Awareness, I got to get out of here. Watch the feet. The little shuffle there makes Stewart miss, moves the chains. This is exactly the answer the Bulls needed on offense.
You know, we talked with Barnett last night about earning the respect of his teammates. It's plays like that that garner you a lot of respect. Trying to bounce it outside. Now given ground, does get a block. And there goes Ford down the sideline. You're kidding me, really? Touchdown. D'Angelo Antoine gave him a block as he was coming towards the near side. But Ford was given ground, and then turned that corner and went to the house.
There is no substitute for speed. Yeah. And great effort by Antone and Solomon, both receivers on the play. This is going to be a negative play. This is a negative play for Houston. They've got him hemmed up, but speed and a block there on the perimeter and on the outside by Solomon springs Johnny Ford into the end zone.
Not exactly how you draw it up, but the result for South Florida is a game-tying touchdown.
What a play, an individual effort by Johnny Ford. He's able to use his speed, nowhere to go up the middle. Well, let me get a couple friends to help me out on the perimeter, and I'll just turn it up the sideline for a touchdown and tie this up at 21. How do you like me now, fellas?
Couple of touchdowns for Johnny Ford. He had 3 touchdowns last week against UConn. South Florida fell behind early 14-0. It is tied at 21 with just under 4 minutes to play in the first half.
Having fun? This is a lot of fun today.
Great game. Barnett has shown me something, not only with his arm,
his
but
movement.
The running has been key. Bryson Smith, fair catch of the 6. And here's a nice run. Patrick Carr. He can distribute some pain of his own as he runs for 10 yards to start this drive.
He's the bigger of the backs for Houston, and he's the guy that wants to get going in between the tackles.
Guy who spent his true freshman year at Colorado. Dancing around again, Patrick Carr to the 39 for 4 yards.
This would be a great time for Houston in the offense that seems to be on ice. They've been put on ice here in the second quarter, and it'd be a nice time for them to answer with a good drive of their own offensively.
There he goes. King spun down at the 46-yard line of South Florida, and a first down. Josh Black was the one that caught up to him.
Boy, he is so explosive when he runs the football. He's at top speed in 2 or 3 steps.
15-yard gain. King pumps, throws, dumps it down low right near the sideline. Right as Brooker turned, he was out of bounds and loses a yard. We talked about putting the Houston offense on ice, and I don't put a lot of stock into time of possession, but I was surprised to see time of possession going into this drive. 18 minutes for South Florida and only 8 for Houston.
Right. And the score 21-21, and the way the game went in the first quarter, this was all Houston.
Carr, a little jump cut, was able to get to the 45, upended by Kirk Livingstone.
And what a great young man. We got to spend time with him last night in the pharmacy school, wants to become a doctor, one of those guys that just gushed about his mom. And
yeah, his mom was in that field.
Yeah.
He said, I don't want to be a surgeon because I don't really like blood.
I don't like blood.
And I don't like needles either.
I said, what are you doing, partner?
Great kid.
Yeah. Stranahan High School, South Florida.
In motion is Lark. On third down, King running. He's going to have the first down. Nick Roberts stopped him, but not before he picks up 12.
De'Aaron King is like the Energizer Bunny. He's the guy that's going to keep on giving you positive plays, and he's one of those electric guys on the edge.
Patrick Carr to the 30 for 2 on first down.
This is if you're South Florida, you may not want to play man coverage or zero coverage and pressure because that allows those big receivers more room in the secondary.
Clock starts to run again, under a minute and a half to play in the first half.
They've got a great matchup at the bottom of the screen with Courtney Lark. It's man-to-man coverage, and there's only a single safety high. That's where I'd like to go with the football.
King looking his way, going towards the end zone for Lark. The crystal ball is out. Nice job, partner. Right to Lark for the touchdown catch at 30 yards.
You don't want to play man coverage against these receivers when you cross the 30-yard line. You're asking for trouble. 8 plays, 75 yards, 2:44 off the clock, and more importantly, Houston regaining the lead.
We thought we'd have a pretty high scoring game, and it's trending in that direction. 28-21, Houston leads South Florida at the intermission. Stay tuned for the halftime report coming up after this message and a word from our ABC stations. And ABC, we are about ready to start the second half. From Houston, good matchup, unbeaten South Florida and the Houston Cougars. It's a 7-point lead for the home team. And we're happy you could join us on this Saturday from South Texas. Along with John Kinjimi, I'm Mark Neely. And let's start with De'Ara King, because when South Florida came back in this game, I think De'Ara King kind of took it personally and gave them the lead back.
You know, I like what he's done from the quarterback position. He's so good running the football, but it's the timing in the pocket, it's his accuracy downfield, and it's what he can do with the players around him. 306 total yards on the afternoon through 2 quarters. And he's run the football, and he's been productive about getting the football in the end zone. 4 touchdowns, 3 passes, 1 rush. So he's done such a nice job of distributing the football and being effective in and around the pocket. And that's how he is. He's been throughout this season. He's been effective throwing the football, but he's electric when he runs it.
Well, for South Florida, 5 minutes into this game, it looked like this may be a blowout.
Yes.
And they were able, thanks to Barnett in the running game, to get back in this game.
So this has been not only Barnett at quarterback keeping drives alive, but a 1-2 punch in the backfield, north-south running for the Bulls. That's been the key, and that got them back into this football game.
Again, it's a South Florida team, one of 5 unbeatens left in the nation. Let's see what the second half holds for us. Johnny Ford, who had a very good first half on the kick return, breaks a tackle, and he's out to the 30. Down below, and let's check in with Alex Cordry.
Well, Mark just had a chance to speak with Charlie Strong, and he said offensively we are moving the ball really well. Once we found our rhythm, our groove, our ground game has been terrific, but defensively we got to pick things up, and specifically got to get off the field on 3rd down.
Where's Charlie Strong? On the defensive side of that ball, was a defensive coordinator at Florida for 7 years under Ron Zook and Urban Meyer. DC at South Carolina. Still keeps a very close eye on that side of the football.
He does. He'll make suggestions now and then, that's for sure.
And the carry, Cronkrights. Tripped up from behind by Emil Fleming, number 50. Again, he's one of the guys having a step up today in the absence of Ed Oliver.
And they really miss Ed Oliver. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
He's one of the most dynamic players in college football along that defensive line, especially the way South Florida has tried to dominate running right at this Cougar defense.
Barnett slings it out. Bronson up near the 38. Meki Ebule there to bring him down after an 8-yard gain. Bronson, one of the receivers, getting more time, more targets, with Randall St. Felix not here, did not make the trip due to injury for South Florida.
Yeah, it's Bronson and Clairvaux needing to pick up the slack, and especially with Tyree McCants, who was injured early in this game, haven't seen him come back onto the playing field for the Bulls.
Been pretty good on 3rd down, 7 of 11. And a manageable 3rd down and 3. And Barnett fires, and that ball punched around and lands incomplete. Isaiah Johnson's the one who got the hand on it, but Darnell Solomon was the intended receiver, and it's 4th down.
For as poor defensively as Houston has played in the secondary throughout the season, I really like some of these defensive backs today, especially Isaiah Johnson. He's done a terrific job breaking on the football and playing the football in the air.
That's a defense, John, that came in allowing about 330 plus yards per game through the air.
Yeah, it hasn't been good in the back end, but they've done a pretty good job today.
Smith going to let that bounce. Oh, that takes a South Florida bounce, and they keep it out of the end zone. And D'Eriq King in the offense for Houston will begin the second half with about as bad a field position as you can get.
This will be a challenge, though. Backed up on his own 1 yard line.
After a 62-yard punt from Trent Schneider. Molbekar trying to get a little breathing room there, maybe a yard.
Yeah, the goal right now for on offense, you need 1 first down. That's the only thing you're worried about. You don't want to have the field flipped on you and leave this South Florida Bulls in great position offensively.
King could have locked it over the top. Nobody there. I think he thought Lark or Stevenson.
2 guys broke off short, and he thought 1 would go deep. That's exactly what happened.
Lark with his hands on his hips.
Somebody's wrong, but no one's admitting to it. That's for sure.
Receiver in the air, and the quarterback was still in the box.
Yep.
Because the foul occurred in the end zone, the result of the play is a safety.
Holy moly. Totally unintentional. And Major Applewhite just got a flag for his reaction.
No, I think it might have been one of the assistants. That's incredible. You have a busted route on the outside. Now watch the 2 receivers at the bottom of the screen. They're both going to break in. It's going to be in cuts and short in cuts. King thought somebody was going deep right there and throws the football. No one's in the area. He's inside the tackle box. So technically, it is no one in the area. So that would be pass interference. In the end zone, that's a safety, but that's a busted route. That's not really hanging it on D'Eriq King.
So after the safety, the free kick from the 20 coming up. Yeah, not to start D'Eriq King and Houston envisioned coming out of the locker room for the second half.
And then you tack on the bench penalty.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It would have been a free kick from the 20, but because of the penalty, it's from the 10. Taking it to 32, a little bit of a fumble there. Ford.
Look out.
That's actually Sanders. Still going. All the way inside the 25-yard line.
Well, you have that penalty after the safety, and Sanders initially bobbles this free kick, but he's able to pick up some blocking, bob and weave on the inside of the field, and then explode into the Bulls territory, actually into Houston territory. So now you've got the football inside the 30-yard line. It's teed up at the 27. Wow, things have gone from bad to worse.
After the safety, a 5-point game. South Florida's never led in this game. They fell behind early after a quarter, 14-0. They could take their first lead if they punch this in.
This is the night where you want to go to a tight end. You've got some injuries on the outside.
This is Ford inside the 5. Brought down by Roman Brown. Ford had a couple of touchdown runs in the first half.
Well, Mark, I'd come back and repeat the same play. And they're going to go Wildcat.
Ford tackled for a loss back at the 7. That's a play the Houston defense needed. It comes from Leroy Godfrey. Also Gerard Carter.
Well, direct snap to Ford, and Godfrey comes off the edge. Well, that's just good recognition. Getting off a block at the line of scrimmage and getting that negative play, tackle for loss, which will bring up a 3rd down.
And 3rd and 4. Line to gain actually about the 3-yard line.
You got 2 tight ends here.
Cronkright trying to fight his way towards the 5. He's stopped short of the 5, which means he's a good couple of yards short of the first down. 4th down, and out comes the field goal unit for South Florida. They don't want to miss an opportunity to at least tack on a little more damage to what's happened here in the last few minutes to start this second half.
Let's give some credit to Houston in that defense. They were able to force this field goal opportunity. 7 points would have hurt to open up this third quarter.
Colby Weiss, 7 of 10 this year. His long has been 38. This is a 23-yard attempt, pretty well lined up middle of the field. Sneaks that in the uprights, and it's 28-26, and a quick timeout early in the second half. Well, the start of this second half, John, the word that comes to mind to me is bizarre. We'll see if it
well, it's been hectic, especially the way you go back and you get the safety to start the third quarter, and then you get the free kick, and it's been a little bit of back and forth. But the Bulls right now feels like have the momentum on their side, offensively, defensively, and in special teams with that long return. So
good snap this time, and he wants to throw. There's a flag thrown in the secondary, and King coming near side, turns upfield, pushed out of bounds at about the 35.
Personal foul, illegal use of hands to the face, number defense with number 19. That 15-yard penalty to be added to the end of the run, automatic first down.
That's on Ronnie Hoggins Jr. Guy who, for the most part today, has been matched up with Marquez Stevenson.
He has. It's a tough assignment for Hoggins, but you got to play physically, but he gets caught there and gets the football now on the Bull side of the 50.
Quite a few penalties for South Florida now, totaling 65 yards. Patrick Carr finds a crease. And another first down inside the 40, brought down by Josh Black.
Really good job by that offensive line, creating a crease right down Broadway. And Carr's able to weave his way through.
Right back at it. Carr tumbles down just outside the 30, upended by Nick Roberts, the strong safety, for a 7-yard gain.
Offensive lineman looking at the sideline saying, hey, let's keep running the football. We feel like we've got momentum on our side.
Do just that to Carr, but he's wrapped up and tackled by Josh Black. Loss of a yard.
This is the same part of the field where quarterback D'Eriq King was able to find man coverage and exploit the secondary of the Bulls. This time the Bulls going to more zone coverage.
A little pass to Stevenson, trying to stretch it out to the edge, but well defended by the South Florida defense, and in particular Mike Hampton, the cornerback, there to run him out for a loss of a couple.
Well, I really like the change of defensive coordinator Brian Jean-Mary. No man coverage there on third down, and he's able to stretch out the Houston offense, and they kept their offense on the field. This is fourth down territory for the Cougars.
4th and 7. With D'Eriq King and his Houston offense, it's been a strange start to the second half for Houston. King, draw, trying to weave his way through traffic, and breaks a tackle, and he has the first down, and he's going to the end zone. A game-changing play by D'Eriq King. He should have been stopped short of the line to gain, and it'd be a turnover on downs, and instead a touchdown for Houston. What a turn of events.
And how special is D'Eriq King? Partner, you couldn't have called it any better. This should have been a tackle for a loss. You're right where you need to be if you're the Bulls on defense, but a great individual effort, and then that pirouette around the 20-yard line just gets King into the end zone. When you put the football in a playmaker's hands and let him decide the football game, that's when you feel good as a head coach, when you have such a dynamic player as D'Eriq King.
On a 4th and 7, a 36-yard touchdown run. Bentley Sanders and Kevin Kegler of the South Florida defense each had a chance to bring him down shy of the line to gain. They're going to see that in their sleep tonight. What a play by D'Eriq King.
I guess this is why you go for it on 4th and 6. When you have a guy that can make you miss in space, keep a play alive to start it, and then have the acceleration to run past everybody and make something out of nothing. Because that's what it was. There was nothing there.
Phillips from inside the 10. Flag flying in. The tackle made back inside the 20. Houston's got some energy, but we'll see about the flag. for Houston. Quick pass is batted down, incomplete, intended for Solomon. Good game going on in the SEC. Good game going on in the American Conference here. Barnett checks it down to Solomon. He steps out at the 34. It's a 9-yard game.
And again, Barnett was able to threaten to leave the pocket and run, and that really opened up Solomon on the outside.
You know, Barnett came in with 7 rushing touchdowns, so we know he can run, but I've been even... He's taken it to another level for me today.
It's been more natural to extend plays.
Yes.
It's been to keep plays alive and keep drives alive, and he's going to have to get that north-south running here on 3rd and short.
Showing some pressure off the edge from Anderson. He backs up.
We may want to take a shot right here. If he ends up throwing the football, that's man-to-man coverage at the bottom of the screen.
He's going to hand it off at a 1st down. And the run by Cronkright. Needed a yard, got 4.
Good job by that offensive line. That was one of the keys going into the game. Win up front. That's what the offensive coordinator Sterling Gilbert told us last night. If we win up front, we're going to be able to hang with Houston.
Going far side this time, dangerous. You know, he's flirted with that a couple of times. Alexander Myers almost took that the other way, and Barnett is fortunate once again on that long pass.
Well, that's the freshman wide receiver on the outside rolling. He's got to close the distance and come back to the football, keep his body in between the football and that defensive back Myers. And Myers, the senior out of Houston, he knew to go around, right around the freshman, and almost went for 6 points.
Myers has 1 pick on the year. He certainly had a chance for 1 there. Barnett hits him in stride. The tight end Mitchell Wilcox lost the ball late, but he was down.
That's a big frame at 6'5", 245 coming across, and that's an easy throw for Blake Barnett. Wilcox was definitely down on the play, but looks like he had injured his right leg.
You know, we talked with Wilcox last night, and there's been a lot of turnover on the South Florida roster from last year when they lost to Houston after starting the season 7-0. But Wilcox was on that team. He remembers that loss painfully. You could see it in his face last night.
Absolutely. He's the one talking to us about visualization and being able to think about what he wanted to do the night before the game.
Barnett, a strike, a nice catch by Solomon near the marker. A late flag and a personal foul is going to add on. After what was an 11-yard gain.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 14. Then 15-yard penalty to be added to the end of the run. Includes an automatic 1st down.
All the officials saw the face mask as 3 flags came flying in at the end of the play.
That's a big play by Solomon. Big play. Solomon comes over and he knows he's going to take either a hit, but he ended up getting the hands around the helmet and the face mask by Isaiah Johnson. So now inside the red zone at the 17-yard line or 18-yard line.
He's going to throw to the tight end. Mitchell Wilcox, who left the game hobbling a bit earlier on this possession, right back in there and has a 6-yard catch.
Good to see him back on the field. He wanted to play in this game so much and make some big catches here in the 3rd quarter.
Cronkright now in as the back. This is a 2nd and goal. Cronkright trying to kick it outside, but he ran right into the waiting arms of Emeki Egbule, and also Fleming was there.
We've talked about the absence of Ed Oliver, and South Florida's done a good job of running in between the tackles, but on that particular play, the Houston defensive front 7 really did a good job of getting penetration, and that's something that Ed Oliver does on a regular basis.
Third and goal from the 10.
South Florida better hurry.
Play clock's at 2. Just got it off in time. Fleming again there on the tackle, this time with Gerard Carter. And here comes the field goal unit to try to make it a 1-score game.
And again, the Cougars on defense are holding the Bulls to a field goal opportunity. Those are the things when we talked to head coach Major Applewhite. He felt like if we're trading touchdowns for field goals, we're going to be in good shape late in the game, going into the fourth quarter.
Weiss made one from 23 earlier in this third quarter. This one a tad bit further from 25. And it is a 6-point game. 4:11 to play, third quarter. Great game going in the American Conference. Today's Aflac game fact. South Florida at 7-0 is the first undefeated team with 5 wins or more to play at Houston since TCU did so October 25th, 2003. TCU won that game. What a shootout, 62-55. TCU went to 8-0. They would go to 10-0 before they eventually lost when they went 11-2 that year. Fair catch will bring it to the 25. It was really fun to chat with both those individuals yesterday. King has time, and he throws a strike. Jeremy Singleton had to reach up a bit for it, but that was a really nice throw from De'Aaron King in a 17-yard game.
And a great adjustment by Singleton. That's just an ad-lib to the wide side of the field. Everybody was covered, but Jeremy had the presence to become uncovered and available to accept that pass.
First down, Cougs from their 45. Swung out to Terrence Williams. He comes to the edge and pushed out just shy of midfield. There's the previous play, this throw by King.
Good protection. King's going to slide and wait for one of his receivers to ad-lib for him to the wide side of the field. And that was a perfect job by Singleton to come back and turn his numbers to his quarterback.
Of course, De'Aaron King's a guy who played a lot of wide receiver here early in his Houston career.
Top of the screen, man-to-man coverage again.
Fires, and that was punched out right at the last moment by Mike Hampton.
It's going to bring up another 3rd and long, 3rd and 7. And this is where De'Aaron King has really done a nice job of keeping plays alive and running the football.
7-10 on 3rd down today are the Cougars. Got his man open. Jeremy Singleton racing to the end zone and coming in late, a block by Raylon Singleton. Touchdown, Houston.
Watch the pump fake and the shoulder move by De'Aaron King. He's going to be able to manipulate the defense, and he was able to get Nick Roberts to jump early, and that opened up Jeremy Singleton for the 6 points down the rail. And that's just a good hesitation pump fake to the short side of the field. Caught the attention of a defensive back, drew the eyes off of the primary receiver in Singleton, and he gets in for another explosive play by the Cougars.
First career touchdown catch for the redshirt freshman Jeremy Singleton. And going to try to make this a 13-point game with the 2-point conversion. Smith flips to the hit zone. The 2-point conversion. I thought you'd said we'd seen it all.
We haven't.
And Jeremy Singleton, just moments after getting his first collegiate touchdown catch, gets the 2-point conversion catch.
And this is unbelievable. Charlie Strong has to be shaking his head because Houston just makes it look easy. First, he's going to get the explosive play down the field to Jeremy Singleton. He's going to be able to weave his way past the white jerseys. And if you thought that was special, how about the 2-point conversion? De'Aaron King wasn't done. He tosses it to Bryson Smith, who must be a point guard at some point, because this is just the off pass to the side wing for 2 points.
Quite a sequence there for Jeremy Singleton. His first collegiate touchdown catch, gets the 2-point conversion when Bryson Smith, acting like a point guard, did a little look-off fake.
That was beautiful.
He actually had 2 guys open in the end zone. Not only did he have Jeremy Singleton, but he had the tight end Romello Brooker there just standing all alone. Sanders takes a knee. 14-point lead for the Cougars, and from the 15, Barnett in and out of the hands of Bronson, which would have been a first down.
This is great timing by Deontay Anderson, the safety. He breaks on this football perfectly. Wide open in the seam is Bronson. but a better defensive play coming from through the back of the receiver. He plays the football with his right arm, but plays the body as well, and that was the key to dislodge the football.
A good play. Deontay Anderson, the grad transfer from Ole Miss. Actually just a transfer in his sophomore year. And here's a throw again for Bronson behind him, but he adjusts and makes the catch, and they do get the first down at their 41.
That's amazing because it looked like quarterback Blake Barnett pulled the string on that. That was a floater down the left seam. It might have been deflected, and it was. But it looked like he committed to throw that one down the seam, and if it wasn't deflected, that was going the distance.
I think Blake Young might have gotten a hand on that. Houston, the D lineman, and pressure off the edge. Johnny Ford up to about the 45 for Ford. Let's take a look again. Did Blake Young, 99, get a paw on this?
Boy, he sure
yeah,
did.
Definitely.
Absolutely, because that ball's fluttering down the seam, and if it's not touched or deflected at the line of scrimmage, that thing was 6 points.
Barnett. Over on the far side is Zion Rowland, the true freshman, and a first down to the studio quickly, and Cassidy Hubbard. Appreciate the update, Cassidy. A carry for Johnny Ford. Nothing there. Roman Brown stuffs it. Maybe he gets a yard. Under the 1 minute mark here of this third quarter.
How about the response by the Bulls here?
Well, they got some new life with obviously the booth call.
With the call.
Barnett has plenty of time to throw, and in stride, tumbling into the end zone. D'Angelo Antoine, touchdown. 39 yards.
That was the best throw that Blake Barnett has had this afternoon. Watch him step into this short side seam route. That is on a line, and what concentration by Antone, getting it inside the 5 and hanging on to it to get into the end zone. That was impressive. That's the way you throw the football down the field. You drive it past the defenders.
Point after for Kobe Weiss. A little high snap at the hold from Trent Schneider, and it's a 43-36 game with 36 seconds left in the third quarter. Third catch called for by Smith. All right, now ball back in the court of Houston. I think they thought they had a free play there.
Somebody's got to tell the offensive line when I say hike, it's move, right? Those guys froze at the line of scrimmage. This is funny because De'Aaron King gets the ball snapped, and he's waiting for his guys to kind of help him out. Guys, come on. The ball snapped. Let's go, guys. And he does the wise thing and throws it away.
Now, is that a possibility that King forgot his own snap count and the line knew it?
It might have been the chance that the center knew it and the rest of the guys did.
There you go. That makes more sense. Stevenson defended there by Hoggins. Yeah, obviously the center was the one that hiked it.
Sometimes you get those linemen and they turn around at the last minute and they'll go, hey, what's it on again? And you got to kind of whisper to him.
That's Will Noble, the center. He's a 4-year starter, one of the leaders on the offensive line. Been good on third down today, 8 of 11.
Man coverage, who can win?
King. Stevenson! What a catch! Hoggins makes the tackle by the shoestrings to prevent a touchdown, but it's still a 55-yard pickup.
Great adjustment by Stevenson tracking that football because it hung in the air a long time.
45-yard gain. Let's see if they get a snap before the quarter comes to an end. And they will not. That takes us to the end of the third quarter. 43-36. Don't go anywhere. The fourth quarter coming up from Houston, Texas. What a game this has been between the Bulls and the Cougars. Stay tuned for more from Houston after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Ready to start the fourth quarter from Houston, Texas. 21st ranked and unbeaten South Florida in a familiar spot. Trailing in the fourth quarter. They're 4-0 with trailing in the fourth quarter this year. We're down 10 to Georgia Tech and won. Down 12 to Illinois. Down 14 to Tulsa. Came back and won all those games. We start the fourth quarter with a King pass for Stevenson. And you saw the defender there, Roberts, just kind of escort him out of bounds.
That's the way to do it. That's perfect defense. That ball was thrown right on the end line. And Nick Roberts got the body on Marquez Stevenson and just rode him out of bounds. If this ball is thrown a little bit to the outside, but that's where Stevenson was running, why not escort him out of bounds?
Second and 10 for the Cougars.
This is where you got to watch for quarterback run here.
And there it goes. There's King to the edge. He's going to have a first down, it appears, where he steps out at the 21 and a 9-yard run. And that's exactly what it was, the quarterback run from De'Aaron King.
He is so explosive when he decides, you know what, I'm going to go full speed.
A little short, yard short, 3rd and 1. Quick snap, hand off, and Molbakar will pick up the first down to the 18 with 3 yards.
This is where South Florida and the Bulls secondary, they love man coverage. So who can win on the outside? Playing a little bit softer now. The last couple plays they were in press man.
Molbakar, junior out of Austin, Texas, takes it to about the 11 for another 6.
Right now, Houston taking a page out of the Bulls' offensive playbook, going north and south. Here's the man coverage, and you see that line across. Everybody's got to win on offense.
Carr running right, turns upfield and scampers into the end zone. Second rushing touchdown of the year for Molbakar. Nick Roberts and Colin McGee had opportunities to keep him out of the end zone, but couldn't.
As dynamic as the passing game has been, Houston really relied on quarterback run and traditional run there to get the football into the end zone.
And the extra point, back to a 14-point game, 50-36. Cougars still early in this fourth quarter.
Molbakar doing a great job of getting the edge and then making that cut around the 10-yard line. His second touchdown of the season to extend the Houston Cougar lead.
Sanders from the 5. Spun around at the 25 and still on his feet. A sidestep to the 37, 38-yard line. So here comes the South Florida offense in a position that they are familiar with, coming back in the fourth quarter. Here's the pass coming near side. Solomon has it, and a couple of rotations around the midfield stripe. He has a first down. And everything we've been talking about is really the primary reason that South Florida is definitely the most disrespected, unbeaten team out there, because they've had to come from behind against some teams, some would say marginal opponents.
That's right.
And a long look and a deep shot is kind of hanging up, and a jump ball. It looked like he came down out of bounds, but they're saying it is an interception and a touchback for Watkins.
Well, Watkins plays this football perfectly in the air. He's able to pin his body against the receiver, high point the football, and does he get a foot in? It sure does look like he got 2 in.
Yep.
And had control of the football. What a great catch and interception. Boy, it tacks it up in the air and put the receiver on his back. And that's the young receiver, the freshman, Roland. He just bodied him out of the way to make that interception.
Watkins, a transfer from Notre Dame in his first season with Houston. And that time, that pass for Barnett, that was just a jump ball into the end zone.
Well, you got to take a chance sometimes down there, and you feel like if you've got a more experienced guy like a McCants who's on the sidelines, you take that chance. But when you have a freshman going up to get the football against a more experienced defensive back, that defensive back's going to win 10 out of 10 times.
Smith in motion, flip it to him. He turns around, flips it back to King. And King hurdles the defender. Comes down near the marker again. What athleticism from De'Aaron King.
And what an imagination. This is direct snap to the quarterback. Looks like a reverse. Then it goes option back to the short side with King on the receiving end. Here comes another one.
Smith was going to throw, and now he's going to run. And I've suddenly got the impression here, John, like we're playing on the playground again.
Well, it is. And it gets to the point of the game where you don't want to just completely air it out, and you don't want to turn the football over. And I think this team has trouble slowing it down. You've got 9 minutes and 9 seconds and counting in this game. You've got a nice, comfortable lead. You don't want to take your foot off the gas, but you don't want to be reckless either. But these kids are having fun, and they're not turning it over while they're having fun.
Well, let's see what comes in on a 3rd and 4, Carl, with the clock running and under 9 minutes to go. Pressure showing on the edge from Bentley Sanders. Yep, he's coming, but there goes Carl out the other side for a few yards up near the 30, tackled by a defensive tackle, Kevin Kegler.
Might be just a yard short. I would expect that offense and to stay out there and quarterback run.
Oh, man, right. Snap it as fast as they could, and Carr hurdles the pile and tumbles on the other side for another first down, converting on 4th and short. And this offense running at a hectic pace once again. Here's a pass towards the end zone, hanging up, deflected and completes. Courtney Lark, the intended receiver, but well played by Mazzy Wilkins, the cornerback.
That was a real good play by Wilkins, going up and challenging the receiver.
Wow, Cassidy. Kansas has not been a very good football team, but for whatever reason, TCU has a lot of problems with Kansas.
Absolutely.
13th play of the drive. De'Aaron King, a shot to the end zone. Singleton, Raylan Singleton, touchdown. Raylan Singleton, the transfer from Utah, grad transfer, a 27-yard touchdown catch.
And another perfect throw by De'Aaron King. Frustration has set in on the Bulls sideline, and this is just better execution offensively. You can't throw it any better, and you like the way Raylan Singleton goes up and gets the football. Great opportunity for a young man on the outside, and a terrific drive by the Cougars. They took the football down the field, multiple plays, and they are putting it on South Florida right now, 57-36. You've seen every play in the playbook today for the Cougars.
And a South Florida team that, unless they really gear it up here over the next 8 minutes, are going to suffer their first defeat of the season.
In a game that's gone back and forth, the Bulls had to answer a little bit earlier than the 4th quarter, because this is a team in Houston that just scores too many points.
Sanders from the 3. 25-30 down the sideline and out near the 40-yard line.
And then LSU and Texas, I really like those guys. Texas got a challenge on the road tonight against Oklahoma State. But watch out for Georgia. Got the win today against Florida, and they may be in a collision course at the end of the season and put themselves back into this conversation.
3rd catch of the game for true freshman Zion Rowland for South Florida. First down at the 42. And as quick as these offenses can score, John, you don't want to shut the door just yet on South Florida. Clairvaux's had a busy day today. Now he's slow getting up. It is a first down for the Bulls at the Houston 32. Clock restarts. Barnett looking around in a crowd. That ball's in the air. He was trying to pass the ball, and it got knocked out of his hand. The officials are saying that it's a
Let's take another look at this. See if it was tipped. The hand's coming forward, but there was an empty hand coming forward. That ball may have came out. Yeah, I think that's a fumble. He wanted to throw it, but he lost control, and that's an empty hand coming forward. Boy, that's a tough one. To me, that looks like a fumble in Houston football.
Fumble that was recovered by the defense. Will be Houston's ball, first down.
Now they did rule fumble on the field.
No, they overturned the one.
Second turnover today for South Florida. It really could be 3. Remember, there was one we thought was a turnover.
That's right.
That they did overturn that we were surprised by.
Now I'd like to see what Houston does offensively. And you've got 7:10 left to go. You've got a 57-36 lead. You would think going Wildcat, maybe run the football here.
That's indeed what they do. And wow, nice power. Terrence Williams in the Wildcat for 11 yards.
And that's a guy that's been injured most of the year. He was a 1,000-yard rusher at Baylor a couple seasons ago. And now he's getting his opportunity to be healthy, number one, and get some playing time here in the fourth quarter.
Once again, Williams stopped for just a couple. Alex has an update on the injury from Courtney Lark.
Mark, team trainers are in the locker room with receiver Courtney Lark after he was carted off the field. He's currently getting x-rays on his lower left leg and his left knee. Team officials, they will not disclose his injury, but we do know Lark is out of this one.
All right, Alex, thank you. Just over 6 minutes to go. And it's off to Terrence Williams. When we talked with De'Aaron King yesterday, a number of things stood out for me, John. One was, I think in many ways, for a kid that's as talented as he is, he's a bit understated.
Yes. You know what? Quiet confidence is always pretty good.
Which I think is a good thing these days.
He has every reason to boast. He can do just a little bit of everything and do it almost better than anybody in the country. And his stature at 5'11", this offense fits him perfectly. He's able to move around, find windows to throw the football, and he's so fast off the edge, boy, he can run it with anybody.
Showing some of those moves there, but a nice open field tackle by Bentley Sanders, but it is a first down, an 8-yard run for King. He holds a record when he played at Manville High School, which is just south of Houston. Highest classification in high school football in Texas. And he has a touchdown record.
Yeah, no one else has scored more touchdowns than De'Aaron King.
And think about all the great high school players that have played high school football in Texas. We'd be here for days reading
all
off
the
names.
quarterbacks that have played and thrown, and got running backs that have run, and wide receivers that have caught touchdowns.
With the Wildcat with Terrence Williams, who will run it straight ahead. It almost looks, John, like this is about as slowed down as the offense is going to get. This is the way of kind of slowing themselves down.
Yeah, this right now is like getting put in timeout. If you're offensive coordinator Kendall Briles, it's tough to call a game at the end, but this is where you have to really feel good about what you've done. And I know that head coach Major Applewhite feels good about what they put on tape today, what they've done for 4 quarters in really all 3 facets of the game.
Under 4 minutes to go, and Houston with the 21-point lead. On the slant, Singleton, Raylan Singleton. Here's what's ahead for the Cougars. They're at SMU. Then you got Temple, Tulane, and Memphis. That Temple game is here, and that's important. Temple's really played well this year. They're one of the teams challenging along with UCF over in the East Division with South Florida.
I just don't know if any one of those teams, maybe Memphis, can score enough points to hang with the Cougars. You know, you thought South Florida, with the way they can play and the way they can defend, they could make it a 4-quarter game. Well, they made it about a 3-quarter game. I'm not so sure if anybody else on that schedule can do that.
King keeps to the tight end. Brooker slung down inside the 20 by Holden McGee. The clock continues to roll. Just over 2.5 minutes to play. At South Florida, all the fourth quarter comebacks. There were a lot of doubters out there, and unfortunately in the day and age we live in now, this is going to kind of, at least in the doubters' minds, confirm their fears on the South Florida team. But this is still a really good South Florida team.
This is a lot of great athletes on this team, and I know head coach Charlie Strong has a lot to play for moving forward. Now they go to 7-1 on the season.
The handoff. Terrence Williams getting more opportunities to carry the ball here in the second half.
Throwing it for Coach Brown.
Spinning, giving ground. Williams getting ridden around and then hit down. They're going to mark him back at the 21. Holden McGee, Ronnie Higgins, and a few others were following him around the field for a loss of 6. What'd you think of the day for Blake Barnett?
You know, I thought he did a lot of really good things. He kept plays alive. He was a better runner than you give him credit for, because this is a fast Houston front seven, and he was able to maneuver and keep drives alive. He threw for over 260 yards, had a touchdown. So I thought he accounted for himself pretty well today.
So South Florida will fall from the ranks of the unbeaten. There'll be 4 left. Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, UCF. And the Bulls will fall to 7-1. They equaled their best start in school history for the 2nd straight year. And for the 2nd straight year, that string was ended by Houston.
That's right. Houston has their number right now. They can put points up on the scoreboard with the best in the country. And without their best player on their team, Ed Oliver, who looks to be healthy, hopefully for the Cougars defense next week.
Yeah, Cougar fans, all Cougar fans are hoping for that. (57-36) Houston. And South Florida falls from the ranks of the unbeaten. The handshakes between Charlie Strong and Major Applewhite. Both teams now 7-1 on the season. But Houston's now 4-0, leading the West. UCF, Temple, both unbeaten on the east side. They were idle this week. They'll play one another next week. And UCF, their first conference loss.
Obviously a huge win for Houston at home. And like you said perfectly, this is a team that has South Florida's number 2 years in a row. They get to 7-0, and 2 years in a row, that's the loss that they hang on the Bulls.
Hey, don't forget more college football tonight on ABC at 8 Eastern. Number 6 Texas at Oklahoma State. That's going to take care of things from here in Houston. This has been a presentation of college football on ABC. For John Kinjimi and Alex Cordry and our entire crew, I'm Mark Neely. So long from Houston.